Let's go deep, guys. All right. This video, you are going to love it if you love talking about quantum physics, timeline shifts, all of those things. And there are some foundational things you must understand. I know that religion connotation, there can be such a negative connotation for many, but if you were to treat the Bible as a guide and not a religious teaching, and it's talking about source energy, okay? I love the term God. That resonates with me. I don't have any negative ill feelings towards it or bad experiences. It is something that I have come to know true for myself. However, I do also really enjoy thinking of my higher self, which I believe is one with the creator, with source energy, with the universe, right? And your mind sight, this is here, okay? This is your imagination, your creativity, that component of your brain. That is where you create what it is. That's where you imagine. Like, think about when you are reflecting on your day. Think about when you're thinking of the future. Where does it happen? It happens up here, right? It happens beyond your eye, or behind your eyes, in what I refer to as your mind sight, okay? So the foundations of these principles, where I really enjoy now looking at scripture from the Bible as if it is like a how-to guide. And the things that you have to understand is some of the things that say, like, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is your heaven or your hell. You decide. When you are imagining a scenario, if it is bad and not going the way you would pick, if you had a magic wand, that would be hell, right? You are creating your hell, which essentially is going to happen on earth, because going back to the principles that thoughts are things, or yet thoughts become things. That's even a better way of looking at it, because thought precedes everything that is materialized around us, okay? So thoughts are things. You create heaven on earth through your imagination, through your divine creation energy source. Whatever it is, whatever you're imagining up here eventually translates into the outside world in one way, shape, form, or another. And I want you to understand that it's only your perspective that creates it, right? So haven't you ever been in a situation where you have completely misinterpreted what somebody said? The reason you misinterpret it is because it's based on what you're imagining, your filter, okay? So call it whatever you want. This is your filter. This is where your creative power is. This is where you express what you have up here will be expressed through you and through people around you, okay? So going back to scripture, it talks about thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, okay? And I have literally translated this into saying whatever's done in your mind will come to be reflective in your 3D world, okay? And one of the pieces of scripture that I absolutely love, it says that in my Father's house, there are many mansions, or there's a lot of different variations of this exact scripture, but saying there are many rooms in my Father's mansion. And if you've ever familiarized yourself with teachings from Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, the way that they translate this is to say that even in this very moment, even though it may not appear that way, you are dwelling within the kingdom of heaven, okay? Or hell, depending on how you would quantify your life. But I want to do a little visualization exercise, and I want you to see that you are the center of your universe, okay? You are the center. So if you could imagine a mansion that has many rooms, okay? Your present reality is a room in that mansion, okay? There are multiple timelines, okay? This is where the quantum physics gets in, meaning that there are unlimited possibilities for the direction of your life. So let's say in one room you are, like, there is evidence to suggest that literally there are multiple versions of you existing. So like if you can imagine a life in which you would be poverty stricken, I don't recommend doing this, but literally there's a version of you that is experiencing that, okay? And you can experience it just by imagining it, okay? Doesn't mean it's going to show up around you. However, if you stay in the mindset that money is hard to come by, there's never enough, people have literally, this is why when people win the lottery and they don't change their thinking, they end up broke because they've never changed their thinking to align with the success and the abundance which is rightfully theirs. Anyways, so if you can imagine a poverty life, if you can imagine things going badly, that is like, imagine there's a huge hallway. I did this the other day and I loved it. Imagine there's a big hallway, right? And there's multiple rooms, okay? This is your hallway. And even in that perspective, it can be literally an illusion, okay? But we're gonna go. In a hallway, there are 10 doors in front of you, okay? In one version, you are poverty stricken and, unhappy. In another situation, you are living in Europe. In another situation, you are in a terrible relationship. In another room, you are in an amazing relationship. Like there's all of these different possibilities which are unlimited, okay? So I'm saying 10 and there's infinite possibilities for your life. And so imagine that you were to walk into the room of one of these. Now, you are presently in that room. As we speak, you are presently experiencing the room that you have created based on your thoughts and beliefs of whatever is going around you, okay? And you are the center. So whatever you believe about yourself, whatever is true for you, whether you like it or not, whatever you have accepted as part of your life, meaning you are in a wonderful marriage, you have wonderful children, all of those things, that is going to be reflected in that room. And even a room, because clearly we walk around on this massive earth, right? And we all have our own houses, but this is how magical it is. There is no logic to any of this. So in that room, you are the center. Whatever is going on in your personal reality is making up your personality, and your room is reflective of that. So the short and simple version is, if you do not like your present circumstances, or there are aspects of your circumstances at the moment that you are not happy with, guess what you could do? Walk out of that room, go down the hallway to where there is if you can imagine perfection, if you can imagine bliss, if you could imagine whatever it is that you are wanting, you walk out of that room, you close that door, you bar it, you freaking burn it. I don't care, caution tape the door so you never go back into it, and you go march your happy butt down to the version of the life that you want, and you walk into that door and paint it vividly. Use your mind sight to imagine the life that you want, and understand that in that moment, time is an illusion. I know, it's crazy. Time is an illusion. There is only now. Once you decide that this is what's true for you, it is true for you now. It is the same equivalent as if you walked out of a room, walked down the hall, opened the door, and stepped into an entirely different reality. However, it takes time for us to perceive materialization. So, if you know you are in your new room, you are in the mansion, it is done now, okay? I'm going to pause here because I do want to pull up another scripture that I've said before, because it's just going to reflect this. So give me a second for the edit. Romans 12:22, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's first. Isaiah 43:18 and 19, forget the former things, see that I'm doing a new thing now. Jeremiah 29:11, I have plans to prosper you, not to harm you. 2 Corinthians 5:17, the old has gone, the new is here now. Hello. There's so many more. I just wanted to give you that piece of encouragement. I know you're having a great day. Keep shining that light because the world needs it. Take care.